What it do? Bad Sound Crew. Hey man, listen, today, as promised, I am here with the UFC Inside Joke tier list. This has almost reached legendary. I almost wanted to aura farm this tier list a little bit longer and be able to put the Inside Joke tier list on the Inside Joke tier list, but we're not going to do that today. We are here to discuss all of the best jokes in the MMA community right now. I'm going to try and keep it to just 2025, the ones that we currently have. But throughout the video, I will shout out some of the OGs. I will shout out some of the all-time great inside jokes, because this video, I want the old heads to be able to enjoy this. I want the young cats to be able to enjoy this, the young brothers as well, like me, to enjoy this video. So let's get into this. I'm very excited about this. I know you guys have been waiting for this one. Let's get into it. Starting off strong. We're going to put the Eagle in B tier, dude. Bro, why am I in B tier? I'm glad you asked, dude. I'm going to put the Eagle storyline in the B tier. I feel like this is a very, very solid joke. It only comes around once a year when Brian Ortega comes around. But, I mean, this one reached mainstream status with, people kind of reposting Brian Ortega's speech over inspirational David Goggins reels. I feel like it has that mass appeal. If you sneak in a little, yeah, it's part of the storyline, dude. You know what I mean? You could sneak that into a conversation. People will kind of get the joke without them being an MMA fan. And I feel like if you are an MMA fan, when this dropped, this had a fucking chokehold on the MMA community, me included. Like, it changed my whole life. I was literally picking this dude to beat everybody in the division just based on rebirth, dude. Like, straight up, that's what it is, dude. So I definitely have to put the Eagle storyline, the Brian Ortega-isms, in the B tier. Okay, next one to talk about, we've got our first S tier candidate. The we did it, we have done it, we are this, we beat this guy. This is an S tier inside joke. It's literally transcended the sport. And I hate to say I have like blown this up, but have I or have I not blown this fucking joke up? I don't recall many MMA I don't think any MMA YouTubers were dropping any wees before I fucking came along. So I feel like I have not only a personal stake in this one, but you just look at how this has transcended from not just MMA memes, not just MMA jokes. Oh, we beat Max Holloway, we destroyed Max Holloway. You know what I mean? This is literally transcending the sport to, mainstream IG reels. Yo, we all love this. So I think that this one, it's so good when it's used ironically that it literally overpowers any cringe from like unironic use. Like if you unironically say I can't even picture someone genuinely saying, yo, we did it, we have done this. Kenny Okoye is trying to kill this meme. There's no doubt about that. But for the most part, everyone's kind of on the same page of using this ironically, and I still find it very funny. It's so easy to drop just straight up just drop it. Yo, bro, we all knew this was gonna happen. You know what I mean? So that's an S tier joke easily. Okay. Next one on the tier list. This one's kind of fallen off a little bit, but I think it still has some clout. I'm going to say the Who's Joe? The Who's Joe, we'll put that in the C tier. It's okay. It was pretty funny at the time. I mean, obviously, I wasn't laughing at that shit at the time. I'm a Max Holloway glazer, so I was like sitting there like, yo, that's not even funny, bro. Y'all literally are not even funny right now, bro. That was me. I was being kind of salty with that, but I do have to say this one started out very strong. It has fallen off, unfortunately, but I still think it has some uses from time to time, and I think that Ilya in general does have some funny quotes here and there, so we'll put him in the, the Who's Joe in the C tier, okay? Now, you may be asking, who is Joe? Officer Joe Pyfer, that's who. We're going to put Officer Pyfer, Bodycam Pyfer. We're going to be putting Salty Man Pyfer in the C tier. This was a groundbreaking joke when it debuted. When I dropped that police officer tier list, I don't think it's outrageous to say this one changed the game. I don't think it's outrageous to say that the body cam Joe Pyfer meme shaped not only how people see Joe Pyfer, but how people talk about Joe Pyfer. And it is pretty cool. Like, I know that it's fallen off. Like, it's definitely doesn't have the reach that it used to. I got a good 3 or 4 videos out of it, and then it kind of died. So I just stopped using it because I didn't want to overdo it. I didn't want to be, sitting here 6 months later talking about, yo, Pyfer's going to turn off the fucking body cam, dude. But, I mean, it did have a good peak. And Joe Pyfer did embrace it. He made some edits about it for his last fight week against Joe Pyfer, so against Kelvin Gastelum, excuse me. So all in all, I mean, this one, we made this one mainstream. We came up with this great joke. It reached the UFC fighter. He embraced it. And people now see him differently because of this meme. I feel that is a very successful meme, but it's fallen off. So I would say C tier. It had its moment. It's dropped off a little bit, but it had some good moments. So we'll put it in the C tier, okay? Next up, we've got our first D tier entry. If you're using the ones in the D tier, I'm literally like, you're either like your internet got disconnected for a couple of months, or you're just a fucking cornball. I don't know what it is. 4570, bro. This was literally funny for like a week, dude. This one was literally funny for approximately 3 days, you know, around the Rainier Derrida fight in January. Otherwise, this joke has fallen off completely. When I see 4570, I'm like, Jesus, bro. Like, you come on, dude. It's fucking September. Let's update the jokes here. You know what I mean? That to me is what I feel when I see some of these in the D tier. So I'll throw the 4570 in there pretty confidently. That's a joke you shouldn't be using anymore. We are not using 4570 anymore. It's really not that funny. It never really was, but I think this one's fallen off a cliff badly. C and D, I think in C tier you can use it from time to time, but it's kind of fallen off. It's kind of outdated. It's got to be very selective. D tier is completely just don't do it. So next one that we've got is another C tier. I'm gonna throw the Ian Garry. My wife and her boyfriend are coming to get you. You know what I mean? And I'll accumulate the Ian Garryisms into the C tier. You know, I've gone out there and I fought the boogeyman, and you seen how that went, yeah? They all said Shavkat was gonna destroy me. You seen how that went? Ian Garry just fucking pisses me off, and I feel like the memes are not even like, I think with some of these memes, it's funny because the UFC fighters play into them and kind of acknowledge them, you know, they become a joke that we can all laugh at. But the Ian Garry ones, there's no joke. Like, he genuinely is a whiny little fuck, like, just, I've gone out there and I've beat up the boogeyman Carlos Pratchett. Like, he's everything he does. I'm like, Jesus, mate, have some fucking self-respect. Like, he's hugging up on protests. He's like, just everything Ian Garry does. I'm like, either, oh my God, I can't wait to see this guy get chinned, or Jesus Christ, mate, what the fuck? So Ian Garry, yes, there is some great inside jokes here. You know, that my wife and her boyfriend are coming to get you. You know, all of these ones, they have some potential. They have some mileage, but they've fallen off completely from the prime UFC 296 when he was supposed to fight Luque. That was the peak of the Garry hate and the Garry memes. I think he's a great fighter as well, so it's a little bit harder to kind of use him. And like I said, there's no exaggeration. Like, that is genuinely Ian Garry. He's just a delusional, cringy, weird dude. So I'm going to put him in the C tier. Some of his quotes are usable, but it's not as funny as some of the other ones. So C tier, I think, is fair. All right, let's move on to one of the most influential creator of inside jokes in MMA. I feel like I'm up there, but this guy's the godfather. I have to put Chael Sonnen in the A tier, and all of his I mean, I can't let you get close. Vanderlei, you have to stop. I can't let you get close. That one had a fucking grip on society in the 2010s, dude. You know, even modern day, this guy's playing a fucking, you know, longevity game. This guy's like fucking Kevin Durant. He's getting better with time almost. He's fucking, you know, back in the day, he had the fucking, he tried to feed a carrot to a bus. That's a real thing. That happened. You know what I mean? All of these, I thought tapping meant you lost the round. There's so many. And then in the modern day, he's still putting up 40 bomb. Islam Makhachev, Arman Sarkarian. This guy's a great fighter. I'm really excited for this. I will say this. Jerry Prakayev, he's a great fighter. He's got so many of them. Even just sleeper little, like, even little sleeper side ones. Where does Kevin Lee fit into all this? He does not miss. He does not miss. The only thing he misses is with his fucking actual takes. Like the Rajah Jackson thing, genuinely, what the fuck was this cunt thinking? One of the dumbest videos and takes I've ever fucking seen. You know, some of his MMA predictions and takes, it's like he says so much but says nothing. So we're taking away the actual personality of Chael Sonnen, or the actual, you know, grievances or wrongdoings of Chael Sonnen, purely talking about the joke sphere of MMA. This guy's a fucking godfather. So I'm gonna put all of the Chael quotes in the A tier. the, you know, the prime Chael days, the modern day 40 bombs that he's dropping. You have to put all of them collectively in the A tier. I won't put them in the S tier. Like I said, Chael does have some retarded takes, and you know, he's losing fans from time to time with some of the stuff that he's doing. But in terms of his contributions to the inside jokes of the MMA community, this guy's a fucking Hall of Famer. So I have to put him in the A tier. All right. Next one to talk about. This one hurts to see, dude. This one reminds me of those pictures that you see on Instagram of like Charmer over like a car in like a dusty little garage. Like these ones have fallen so far, dude. I'm putting the Israel at a trust. I'm gonna leave him twisted up like Twister. Trust. You know what I mean? All of the Adesanya, like I bet you haven't heard that shit in almost a year, bro. Remember when Izzy was the fucking main character of the UFC? There was a time Israel Adesanya with these cringy quotes could just send a shiver down your fucking spine. He'd get, I'm gonna touch him till he crumbles like the Twin Towers. Trust. The trust. All of the Israel Adesanya cringy one-liners, they are gone. They have fallen into decay. These are ancient lore in MMA. You're gonna be 40 years old. You're gonna hear some random kid walking by say the word trust. You're gonna get flashbacks, dude. That is the status of the Israel Adesanya cringy one-liners in terms of their prevalence and their usability in the modern day MMA joke sphere. So these ones have fallen hard down into the D tier. You know, like I said, man, these ones used to send a fucking shiver down my spine back in the day. These ones were B tier, maybe A tier back in the day at one point, but right now they have fallen off. They are completely no longer used. And that we're going to unfortunately have to put them in the D tier. But, you know, real ones remember the Adesanya prime days when he would have been on the B or the A tier of this. Now, speaking of, back in the day, man, we're going to put Joe Rogan in the A tier with the... People forget, man. People forget, man. It's such an iconic fucking phrase. You know, not to mention, that calf is done. He's not throwing that right hand. Oh, he threw it there, though. He's a marauder. All of these jokes... very, very prevalent, very funny. I still fuck with all of the Roganisms, you know, the Steel Muay Thai Cup. Every UFC fan knows exactly what you're talking about, even if they're kind of a casual, you know, they have to sit through one pay-per-view, boom, they know all these jokes. They've heard all of these Rogan quotes. You can use them, and most people already know who Joe Rogan is, so I feel like these ones have broad usability. They're, you know, they go back in time, they still get used today. They're timeless. They're very, you know, effective. I will not put them in the S tier because it's a joke when we all say it, but it's not a joke when Rogan said, like, Rogan genuinely is the fake hardcore that we all make fun of, except he's like completely dead serious trying to convince, like, Rogan gives me that energy of the kid that's like, yeah, my dad works at Xbox, dude. That's Rogan talking about MMA. People forget, man. The best fights are in the Apex. I love the Apex, man. Like, that is genuinely Rogan's takes. He literally is such a fake hardcore that he's like, dude, we shouldn't even have an octagon. We shouldn't have rounds, dude. Like, he's such a fake hardcore. He literally is, like, pretending to be this fucking genius mind on MMA. So when he says these quotes that are very iconic, very hilarious, great inside jokes, you know, you drop a fucking... People forget, man. You know, to an MMA fan, boom, you got him. You call... So he's a marauder. There's so many you can use, but you have to remember, Joe Rogan genuinely thinks all of these things and says all of them, and he thinks that he knows more than you and needs to let you know that. So next time you think about these jokes, just remember, to you and us, to you and me, it's a joke. To Joe Rogan and his little bald grenade body, like fucking ape brain, he's like, dude, people fucking forget about fucking Benson Henderson, man. Like, every time he says it, so... He cracks me out. I'm a big Rogan hater. I'm not going to lie, but I do have to put him in the A tier. I have to be objective. His inside jokes have been a huge contribution to the game. Easy A tier. Next one that we're going to talk about. This is a more contemporary. This is a more modern day inclusion to the MMA inside jokes. I'm going to put the Tom. What would it take? Chicken tonight, mate. I want fucking chicken tomorrow, mate. What the fuck? I weren't going to turn left, mate. It's fucking 60. For a fucking cat crossing, mate. Cat crossing. I've never fucking seen a sign like that before. What the fuck? You have to be an MMA fan to know these jokes, but once you are an MMA fan, these jokes are very good. So I feel Tom Aspinall definitely belongs in the B tier with the what would it take. That has kind of mass appeal. That's that fits into those jokes of like, you know, when bro, as soon as we get around the 10 out of 10, you know what I mean? Like, definitely there's some growing popularity for the Tom Aspinall jokes. I find them pretty funny. I feel like I quote these pretty regularly, but they're not as iconic and as timeless as some of the ones in the A tier, up in the S tier. I think they definitely belong in that B tier. They're rising, you know, if we get some more iconic quotes out of Aspinall, maybe they can move up to the A tier, but I think B tier is pretty fair. This next one, now this one does have mainstream appeal. This one has reached the masses, but I just refuse to find this funny. 2-3 years, brother, send him 2-3 years Dagestan and forget. When this first dropped, this was a heater, bro. Because the casuals didn't have it yet. So you weren't hearing this shit every fucking day. It was just, if you watch that ESPN interview, you're like dying laughing at Islam Makhachev kind of joking around with it. Brother, send him 6 months and can call on phone one time. But now it is going mainstream. It is like the MMA 6-7, bro. That's genuinely what needs to be said. This is the MMA equivalent of 6-7, okay? I do not find this funny anymore. I find 6-7 funnier than this, and I don't even understand the 6-7 joke. I know I'm getting old, bro, but at least I find that kind of funny because it's so dumb. But this one, 2-3 years Dagestan, oh, send him 2-3 years Dagestan, send him 2-3 years Dagestan. I think it's really fallen off, and I think it's reached the mainstream status where it's like when Demetrius Johnson is still quoting this joke in 2025 and like dying laughing about it, that's when I know a joke is dead. When a joke reaches... Bro, when a joke reaches like these, I don't know how to explain it, like these MMA influencers that just post the most brain rot shit on IG Reels, or if it reaches like current day UFC fighters or like Mighty Mouse and they're like dying like 2-3 years Dagestan. That to me is the end of the joke. It needs to kind of have a little bit of underground status to be a little bit funnier to me. That's just me personally, but yeah, I'm gonna say 2-3 years Dagestan. I can't put it in D tier because it is mainstream. It was funny at the time, but for me personally, I'm pretty sick of this. I'm gonna put that in the C tier. All right. Next one to talk about. We're gonna put the Nate. Hey, Hamza, stop being a bitch. Fight my boy right here. I'm putting that in the B tier. I fucking love that one, dude. That's such a good fucking clip. Like Nick Maximov. Wow. Give this guy a fucking Oscar or something, because the whole clip is so funny. If you know who Nick Maximov is, it's even funnier. But even as a non-MMA fan, I feel like you can enjoy this joke. You totally understand every emotion in it. And, you know, Nate Diaz has always been a quote machine. He's still doing it in 2025. It's not as relevant or as, you know, usable in everyday situations the way that the Chael ones or the Rogan ones or the Wee ones are, but it is a very elite MMA joke. And like I said, Nate Diaz has been a fucking quote machine since day one, dude. Nate Diaz is literally out here, like, since the begin. Hey, I don't even care if you're gay. You know, if you're gay, you're gay. But these dudes ain't even gay. They just act fucking gay. You know? What is this, a fucking money channel? You know what I mean? Fucking... No one knows what the fuck a gazelle is. Straight up. There's so many Nate Diaz quotes that were big memes. This one is the current day, so yeah, I'm gonna put that in the B tier. I really like this one. I feel like hey, Hamza, stop being a bitch, fight my boy. It's just so many layers to it. I fuck with it. I'm putting it in the B tier, okay? This next one, this one is a game changer, dude. And then when I talk about timeless generational talents that will always be being quoted by MMA fans until the day they die. Stand your base. Stand your fucking base, yeah. Slap the little note. Bum, 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 bum. Conor McGregor literally cannot miss when it comes to his quotes, bro. The only reason it's not S tier is because I feel like it's only purely funny to MMA fans. Even though, yes, he has mainstream appeal. These are the like, when McGregor went on that live stream, it literally changed my life, dude. That McGregor, stand your base, yeah. Stand your fucking base, yeah. It's one of those quotes similar to some of the Chael ones, some of the Rogan ones, where if a conversation dies, you literally are totally allowed as a man to just be like, stand your base. And I'm sure you will make the other dude laugh and the conversation will continue. That's the level of power that a stand your base has. You know, Ilio Toptorio, Topario, or he'd slap the little nose off and bum, 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 bum. You know, all the McGregor quotes, some of the greatest quotes in MMA history came from this man. I have to put him here in the A tier. Yeah, I think that's a very fair assessment. Borderline S tier, but I don't think Stand Your Base has the same level of power as we did this. That's reached mainstream levels. So, yeah, I think A tier is fair. All right. Next one to talk about. This is another one that I feel like we popularized quite heavily on this channel, but it has unfortunately fallen into decay. I'm gonna put the Henry. Listen, guys. Listen, dude. I think he's gonna punch, man. Dude, I think he's gonna throw some kicks, dude. I think he's gonna wear a cup, dude. I really do, man. When Sean O'Malley leaked those DMs telling him that, oh, dude, Aljo's gonna try and wrestle, you know what I mean? All this stuff. And we latched onto this and turned it into one of the biggest memes. And still to this day, you see remnants of this joke in MMA comments that, I think Bedtime's gonna upload a video, man. I really do, man. You know what I mean? This one still has its moments here and there. I'll never put this one in the D tier, but I think because Cejudo has fallen off and he's nearing retirement, he's no longer at the top of the sport, it just doesn't hit the same as it used to. It's just no longer what it once was. But there was a time this was an A tier, maybe a high B tier. I think right now C tier is pretty fair. It's still funny. It's still, like I said, if you use it sparingly and correctly, I think it still has some appeal, but it's not going to be a go-to immediate usage for me. It's not going to be it's not going to be on my starting 5. I guess I'll say that. In terms of my starting 5 inside jokes, I'm not dropping it. Listen, dude, seriously, dude, I'm not dropping that straight away. Right? If I know the person I'm talking to is like a deep hardcore MMA fan, maybe I'll sneak that in, right? But even then, I probably wouldn't be super confident. So I'll put that in the C tier. Yeah, very good joke back in the day, okay? Speaking of jokes that we have created, mate, fucking Bobby Knuckles, boy, mate, JDM's gonna fucking sleep him, mate. Aussie casual, British casual, oh my days, Nathaniel Wood. Oh my fucking days. Mexican casual, bro. This weekend's card is fucking good, dude. What are you talking about, dude? Dude, this weekend's card is fucking gas, bro. Bro, you're a fucking hater, dude. This weekend's card is fucking fire, dude. There's so many casual the Lucas trade. Dude, what are you saying, man? Dude, what are you talking about, man? The casual impression, the casual voice. I feel this is borderline A tier. I might even move that up to A tier, but I'm gonna be humble and put this joke in the B tier. I think that this has potential to go nuclear. I think this has potential to be A tier, borderline S tier. I think that the Aussie casual, I mean, like I said, this is very specific to my fan base, but if you live in Australia, you know Aussie casuals. You have met Aussie casuals. If you train MMA, you have met a cat. Like, I'm sure the American equivalent is basically identical, but every Australian male that's ever trained MMA, yeah, mate, I used to fucking do that karate jiu-jitsu before I did me fucking shoulder, but I'd go in there, I'll hit it. You want to go in and hit him with the jab hook, mate. They know everybody ever, like, oh yeah, that McGregor, yeah, I trained with him back in the day when I was playing for Parramatta. It's just such a fucking real shit, dude, and I feel like people can just relate it to their own countries. Like I said, you got the British casual, you got the Mexican casuals, you got the New Zealand yeah, bro, yeah, Allberg's gonna knock him out, G, yeah, Izzy's gonna win the belt back, G. You got every country has their casuals. I'm not gonna do any Japanese or Chinese casuals. That's saved for when I'm on the beers, but I think the casual impression belongs in the B tier. This one has a lot of potential. I'm pretty proud of that one. All right, another one that we're gonna throw in the B tier. I got caught. You got dominated. Statistically, you got dominated. Jamal Hill being salty, talking about the statistics. I mean, this one is a fucking this guy is an underrated comedic genius. Jamal Hill does not get enough credit for his contributions to the MMA game in terms of his jokes, bro. I feel like the I got caught, you got dominated. That's reminiscent of some of the golden age of jokes. And we'll talk about another guy that is really reminiscent of those old school fighters, like Luke Rockhold, that was just a non-stop quote machine. Like, when Luke Rockhold lost, you knew you were going to get something funny out of it. Like Luke Rockhold, Yoel Romero, all these guys back in the over. I clearly felt a tap. You get all these old school fighters where everything they say kind of becomes a meme. Jamal Hill kind of reminds me of that. I'm going to put him in the B tier for the I got caught, you got dominated. That is a very good inside joke. Still has a lot of mileage. You can quote it to somebody else. I feel like it's very, very easily understood. I really like the Jamal Hill salty explanation meme, and I hope that we continue to get more of it, dude. Honestly, I hope he doesn't get humbled. You know, most time a guy is like talking shit, you're like, damn, I hope he gets humbled. I kind of hope Jamal Hill doesn't get humbled. Because if Jamal Hill comes back next fight and he's just humble, the meme is dead. So, yeah, Jamal Hill, keep being salty, bro. Keep being you, dude, all right? Let's move on to one of my least favorite. Now, this is one that I have spammed a lot, but I have to let it go. The CP. We all love watching CP. You know, I've been watching CP footage all week. You know, we're just going to get rid of the CP jokes. I think that they've fallen off a little bit. I feel like that, I don't know whether it's because I turned from fucking 23 to 24 and all of a sudden I'm like, man, I'm literally a grown-ass man making CP jokes. I don't know what it is. I had some introspection. You know, I kind of went for a walk, kind of looked at myself in the mirror. And I think I'm going to retire the CP jokes. I'm going to lay the gloves down. I'll let just Left Lane just steal this one and just keep it. But whoever wants it, you can have it. I'm going to let this one go. And I feel like this one, listen, it had some funny moments when it first showed up. I'm personally more of a fan of the Song Yudong, the SYD chain. Like, that is absolutely fucking outrageous. But yeah, I think the CP jokes, we're going to leave them in 2024. We're going to drop those ones in the D tier. Now, this next one, this is what I'm talking about when I say someone that reminds me of the golden age of MMA inside jokes. Anthony Smith on paper. Dude, this reminds me of like prime Dominic Cruz, prime Luke Rockhold, you know, prime Cody Garbrandt. I never had chase pussy in my life. December 17th, I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? All of these classic UFC fighters where everything they said became a fucking meme. Anthony Smith is a generational talent when it comes to that. I have to put him in the B tier because these ones are fading away and he's retiring, right? So they're losing their power. But dude, I'm telling you what, man, 2024, Anthony Smith on paper had a grip on society. 2024, Anthony Smith had a fucking chokehold on the MMA community in terms of jokes. I mean, on paper, I win that matchup. You know, he was a double threat. I really think 5 years ago, I would have won that fight. He's not that good if you take away his skills, right? All of these Anthony Smith copes, they are fucking genius. And it's such a good joke. Like, you can use it. You can make it very obvious to an MMA fan. You can kind of sneak it in. You know what I mean? These are almost timeless, dare I say, but I feel like they've lost some power and some relevance due to Smith dropping off and retiring. If this tier list was made last year, this would be an A tier, borderline S tier. I think these ones need a little bit of a revival. Whether Anthony Smith maybe, you know, takes on a more vocal role in the MMA community like a Chael Sonnen, and we get more Anthony Smith coping in YouTube videos or on the ESPN desk, I think these can go up to A tier easily. But right now, as it stands, I know he has a podcast that no one watches, but we need to blow up his podcast because right now these are B tier. They're not as relevant as they should be. The Anthony Smith copes, they are fucking generational. I will never forget these jokes. Now, we don't have many left. I've got one down in the D tier. I've got a couple of B tier, maybe an A tier. And then I have the GOAT, in my opinion, in the S tier. So let's start off with the D tier. The fucking Dricus. This is another one that when it reached IG Reels and it reached fucking, you know, the UFC page and fucking, you know, Tony has died and all these pages, I knew this joke was dead. I'm not talking about the, bro, I didn't say that, or I never said that, bro. Find a video of me saying, I'm not talking about the Dricus gaslighting. I am, of course, talking about the Dricus by dropping an anvil on his head, bro. Bro, Dricus by drawing a circle and making him run into it, bro. Like, all the Dricus Looney Tunes memes, it's like, yes, we get the joke, and it wasn't that funny to begin with. I never really found them that funny, to be honest, and I feel like they were, at best, a C tier joke. Maybe if you were a comedic fucking genius, I could put one of them in the B tier, but these ones are literally just slop. These ones are dead. I'm putting them in the fucking D tier. I feel like this is the definition of when it goes, man, you're like, okay, joke's over. You know, after like 2 or 3 days, all right, the joke's dead. All right, bro. And it's just become mainstream, and it's, you know, it wasn't funny to begin with. It's not funny now. Yeah, I think that the Dricus, and I don't know why I'm getting so serious about this, but I just hate cornball fucking, like, that to me is like you have a fucking broccoli cut, you have glasses, you fucking, bro, Dricus by fucking dropping a fucking piano on him, bro. Like, it's such a goofball fucking joke. It's not even good, dude. I'm putting that in the D tier, man. At least steal some good fucking jokes, dude. Don't put that shit there, man. I'm putting that in the D tier. The Dricus by Anvil. If you're someone that comments Dricus by Anvil, Dricus by Wind Up Punch, etc., etc., bro, get a fucking job, dude. I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm putting that in the D tier, all right? Next one to talk about. I'm going to put the Lucas Tracy phrases in the B tier. I'm going to put Lucas Tracy in the B tier. I think that some of these are genuinely very influential and they're usable. And for the most part, they're very funny. You know, sometimes there's no other words to use than the words big meaty hooks. You know, sometimes there is literally no other way to ration your opinion than light a man's skill. You know, and obviously Lucas is very influential with the fucking, dude, what are you saying, man? You know what I mean? So I have to give him his respect and put him in the B tier. You know, crafty vet. Some of these are very good. Some of them are so niche and I feel like he's just spamming words. He's like, it's almost like Lucas sometimes, it's like he's just pressing autocorrect until the sentence is over. When he's talking about the UFC and he's just laughing in between, it feels like only he knows the joke. Like you don't actually know the joke. But whatever it is, it must be really funny. So I have to put it in the B tier because I feel like some of these are so niche or just just non-understandable to the average person. Even to an MMA fan, I feel like some of them are like, what the fuck? It's just funny the way he says it. But some of them are very usable. Some of them are very quotable. Some of them are very funny. I'm going to put Lucas Tracy and his Tracyisms in the B tier, okay? Next one to talk about, I'm going to put the Tony's the type of guy in the A tier. Tony's the type of guy. Comes from the golden age of MMA humor. I remember a time, and I feel like the Matt Damon gif where he turns old. Okay? But I'm just gonna say it like it is, dude. I remember the days of like Ripped Roofie, bro. And fucking Mixed Molly, what? Murderers fucking row. You know what I mean? And Mexican martial arts. And Prime Keon Kimura back in the day, bro. Where every comment section was like elaborate. Tony's the type of guy to tell his dad he's the man of the house now. You know what I mean? Elaborate Tony is the type of guy jokes. Pride 2000 quotes attributed to the wrong person. You know, someone gets knocked out. I clearly felt a tap. Jeremy Steve. You know what I mean? Those were the fucking prime days of MMA humor. And I feel like now that brain rot has infected all of us and it's way easier to make us laugh, but also way harder to get off like a real long joke or something like that. I think that we have to show some respect to the OG Tony Ferguson. He's still doing it. There is still to this day in 2025, Tony Ferguson's the type of guy jokes happening. So that is a timeless reminder of a golden age in MMA humor. I have to show the GOAT some credit, and I have to put him in the A tier. There is two left. One of these, I feel like I have a big part in blowing up, but they also, I have actually seen these kind of reach mainstream, and then, like I said, the S tier is the GOAT, okay? That's 9 fights in a row, bro. What? Tell them what type of car you drive. Mercedes jelly? What? Mercedes jelly? And then, of course, I'm also going to throw in his coaches in it. Come on, Leon, don't let him bully your son. Extremely quotable. You can use the Leon Edwards. They all said I couldn't do it. You can all use that shit in like mainstream purposes, MMA purposes. There's so many Leon Edwards funny moments / quotes that I feel like he is an underrated, iconic piece of MMA inside joke lore. We have to put him at least B tier. He's a borderline A tier in his prime, but right now he has fallen off a little bit in terms of his relevancy and he's not really talking that much. So I have to put Leon down in the B tier, but if he somehow beats Carlos Prates and we get a, another Leon Edwards funny moment or something like that, definitely throwing my boy back up in the A tier. I have a love-hate relationship with Leon Edwards. Obviously, I preyed on this man's downfall like fucking Topher Grace in Spider-Man 3. Like, I was God, I need you to make Leon Edwards lose to Bilal Hunt. Like, that was dead-ass me every day. But at the same time, he's one of my favorite UFC fighters to quote, to make jokes about. So Leon Edwards definitely belongs high on this tier list. He is a borderline A tier. We're going to put him at B just to be humble, okay? Last one to talk about, in my opinion, the GOAT inside jokes in MMA are the Dana White. Listen, kid, how do you not put me in the fucking S tier? I mean, there's so many Dana White jokes. The most persistent and never-ending collection of jokes are Dana White, quotes. Like, they will never stop morphing. They will never stop being important to the sport. These are the LeBron James of the MMA jokes game. They're just aging perfectly every single year. Still doing it in 2025. Been doing it for 30 years. just never-ending supply of quote. What's up, fight fans? We got a badass fight card. You know, you're gonna oil me up. What the fuck does that mean? You know, isn't he fucking awesome? Listen, kid, this is a badass fight card. You know, listen, kid, best we can do is send you to the Apex for 12K. It never fucking ends. There is a never-ending pool of Dana White jokes and quotes that are extremely relevant, extremely funny. We're never going to run out of them. I feel like Dana White, he has gotten more mellow in the past years, but even at his most mellow, he still gave us the John Jones pound for pound #1 meme. Like, this guy's just never running out of material. He just doesn't miss. Dana White does not miss when it comes to inside jokes in the MMA game. You can, and this, the reason that this is the S tier GOAT is you get an MMA fan from 1995, you get an MMA fan from 2005, you get an MMA fan from 2025. We're all gonna have a Dana White quote that we love. We're all gonna have a Dana White joke to tell. We're all gonna understand it. So that to me is the GOAT. Longevity, usability, variety, range, consistency. Dana White is the GOAT of the inside joke game, followed closely by myself in my humble opinion. But hey, let me know your favorite inside joke in MMA history down below. It doesn't have to be the modern day ones. It can be, you know, the prime days. Who the fuck is that guy? You know, whatever ones you want, or some modern ones that I've missed out because I'm never getting on TikTok. Let me know your opinions in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed this generational video, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel, go watch my UFC Noche predictions that I dropped yesterday as well. It's a pretty trash card, but hopefully there's some entertaining fights. I'm looking forward to Canelo versus Crawford as well. I'm just going to pick Crawford. I don't know why. I'm going to pick Crawford. Maybe I'm a fucking casual. We're going to get some... Dude, what are you saying, bro? You're supposed to pick Canelo, bro. Canelo's going to fucking destroy him, dude. But, hey, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Drop a like, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bedtime MMA. I will see you guys in the next video, man. Goodbye.